Welcome to Cyberlab. In this episode, we're running through the install of TrueNAS SCALE. TrueNAS SCALE is an open source Linux-based NAS operating system that's built on Debian. So if you've used Debian or an Ubuntu distro before, you'll find this quite familiar, especially if you're going to use the command line or SSH into it to do any of the administrative tasks. Now with TrueNAS, you're going to get features such as ZFS file system, supports virtualization, it supports containers, which includes Docker and Kubernetes. And considering it is, obviously free open source for a home user, it's a really powerful and obviously you can have a lot of fun with it too. Now, last time I did an installation video, we were using VirtualBox simply to show the steps from after the USB is plugged in to obviously booting up the system. It's not ideal. It would be much better, much more sort of, I guess, organic to show it with a USB booting into a system, which is exactly what we're going to do this time because I managed to set up a capture card and I have a small NUC which I'll be using for demonstrations like this where I don't want to blast an existing system, but I do want to show the install steps. So in this video, we'll be going through downloading the ISO from iXsystems site, making the USB, and then using that USB to install TrueNAS. So let's get into it. Okay, so what we'll do first is I'll show you where to get TrueNAS, like an ISO for the latest version. Now I have already downloaded this, but this is just to show you searching through the browser, find the TrueNAS.com, download TrueNAS Community Edition. When you are first greeted with this screen, it will prompt you to join the community, which you can, or you can choose not to. It's up to you, but the community, the forums are great for sort of finding advice and asking advice, but also finding potentially a solution to a problem. We're going to click no, thank you. I've already signed up. That just means we get to go to the download screen a little bit faster. All right. Now we can just choose to download either the stable or the legacy. I'm going to select stable. And like I said, already downloaded that here. So we'll get a USB. Okay, let's get that USB, which we'll be using for the installation. I'm going to use Rufus. Okay, now that's the target USB drive that I've just plugged into my computer. So that's good. Disk ISO, click on select, and we will go to storage, lab, ISOs, and we'll select this one. To be honest, everything else you can leave as default unless you want to come in and right, TrueNAS there, and we'll click start. It's just an option to use Rufus's ISO image mode or use DD image mode. I'm just going to stick to the defaults. And we'll just use the default version again. The usual warning you get when writing new ISOs to USB sticks. This is warning that obviously all the data on the device will be destroyed, which we're totally okay with. Okay, so that's now finished installing. I will pause, get the USB, put it into the NUC, and then we'll start with that process. Oh, that's booting up now. We're going to select Start TrueNAS SCALE Installation.
A few moments later.
Okay, that's now finished installation. It says to reboot and remove the installation media. So we're going to click return for that. Select 3, reboot system. And then unplug the USB while that is rebooting. Now, if you don't hit return in that situation, it will just automatically load the most recent version that it's installed. Obviously, there was only one version there because that's the one we've just installed via USB. But if you have the system running for long enough and it does go through a number of upgrades, you'll start to see that list grow. It'll always default to the most recent version.
A few moments later.
Okay, now we've been met with the web face interface could not be accessed. Please check network configuration. Okay, so that looks like there is an IP address there. Quit that. So the gateway here is 192.168.3.1. Excellent. Right. So now you have the instruction to continue on the web GUI with that IP address. As you can see, 192.168.3.2.1.4. We get both options for HTTP and HTTPS. It's on my home network, so it's not as important. But if you do this on any sort of a production environment, to be honest with you, just a better practice would be to run it on HTTPS, because that is a little bit more secure. Actually, it's a lot more secure, to be honest. But all right, so let's go back to this, and we will type that in. 21214. Would help if I plug the keyboard in. 192.168.3.214, I think it was. Let's do HTTPS, and you can see the warning that it will give us. So because we're wanting to connect over a secure channel, it's now telling us that the certificate authority is invalid. That is because it is using a self-signed cert, and the whole purpose of certificates is for, a third-party certificate authority to have that impartiality in confirming the legitimacy of a site. So we will put in the username TrueNAS admin. Hopefully I typed that in correctly. And there you go. It's as easy as that.